essentially companies like Twilio being paid to send messages and charging their customers, 008, 009, whatever it was, per message, which, by the way, was still significantly cheaper than Europe, but like free is free.
Yeah.
And then I think what turned for them, and they were sort of double unlucky. One, markets turned. It wasn't just Twilio. I mean, they were worth 70 billion. So where many other companies were worth a gazillion dollars that in that time frame. So they had that downside, and the carriers finally got smart and were like, hey, why are we not getting any of this rev share of this message from this brand? And they started charging too. And those two things killed the business model.
But that only started in 2020. The carriers created the Campaign Registry, and you should go read Alan's Messaging Monopolies report. They started the Campaign Registry under the guidelines of wanting to stop spam, but what they enabled is now the ability to charge a half a penny and up to a penny per message through this bullshit registration process through an entity called the Campaign Registry. So that didn't really start till a couple of years ago. My angle is, all of these guys in messaging, anybody's already made their money. You've either made your money and you're sitting on a beach like the guys at Cinch, and they have 900 million outstanding shares. You want to know why their stock can never go up? Not because of you or Twilio or anybody else, because there's a billion shares. It's like a penny stock, right? So I study the markets, I watch the markets, and that's what I play, and that's what I watch. You can't buy Cinch because there's too many shares. It's like Wolf of Wall Street bullshit. It can't go up, right? Why is Twilio doing? Twilio did $1.2 billion in buybacks in Q2 and this year alone. And they did it because the activist investors are trying to inflate it. It didn't even work.
Yeah.
If they didn't do the buybacks, their stock would be 35 right now, right? So what I'm saying to you is you got out, right? There's winners and there's losers. And, the Cinch guys, they worked very closely with Thorsten. I remember when Mito started giving them all kinds of problems. And this is when I first did a deal with Thorsten, and they literally set me to go torture this kid. So I met this kid, Andrea Mito, and I guess they thought I was a thug because I kind of talk like one, but I'm anti-violence. I would rather sue you for 100 years and torture you in business than I can't even watch UFC fighting because to me it's inhuman. I went to go meet this kid, and they were so angry with this guy on what he did, what he was doing to them. But it was just trivial bullshit. So they had their little cabal going, those guys. But Cinch cashed out. Jeff Lawson bought the Onion. He cashed out. You cashed in. For Cinch, they're trying to do an IPO. I mean, for Infobip, they're trying to do an IPO right now because they got $800 million from JP Morgan sub One Equity. They're forced. It's the only way they're getting their money. But I think the point of my first question is, you answered it when you saw this coming, and now you're heading to the big leagues, and you're really going to the big leagues. You're talking about Salesforces. You're talking about Cisco's now merging. And by the way, they all have directs, by the way. Infobip's got directs right now, right? Cisco's got directs. I mean, and I know you're working through Cineverse, but you don't view that because you're giving it away. I'm just trying to understand on your angle on what you're doing. I guess it's kind of too early for me to ask you that question, but one more thing before we go. When you decided to leave the Netherlands, it was a big deal, right? It was a big deal in your country, right? And your brand is huge over there. And then I see you on X, and I'm saying to myself, and I listen to you talk, because you separate your own identity from your country, your company. A lot of people do that, and smart entrepreneurs, start CEOs. I'm a fan of real leaders like you are. When are you going to start building your brand in the U.S.? Like really building it? Because they're gonna love you over here, because you're never going to make money in Europe.
I thank you for all the compliments, but I have so much to say about this. Okay, let me go back one, if you don't mind. Let me go back on one.
Go back, maybe. Well, they got all day.
Make your podcast longer. I think that look, whether it's Campaign Registry or what is that Mobile Economic Forum, MEF? And
MEF was a porn site, right? Where the guys got together. Alan writes a story about them. MEF was started a long time ago, but Gertzman got involved with MEF to stop Mito and those guys. They didn't know what to do, so they started.
Minto
Meth
was on the board of Meth.
No, Gershman's the chairman of Meth. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Mito's now involved. They let Mito in. And look, I know Andrea. I went to go play golf with this kid. I played 4 days of golf with this guy, Andrea. I didn't know him, but I knew him from the voice days because I come from voice. He used to be a call trade. So a buddy of mine said, look, this guy Andrea is a good guy. He's just a hustler. And he just out hustled the shit out of those guys and created a business. However anybody wants to look at it, he's just making money. He'll never be sold. He'll never go public. He's just making money. But Meth is just an organized crime family where you pay and you get your messages across. That's all it is. And look, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a catering hall where you go to and you pay the catering guy to get a voice.
But this is my point. But this is my point. So we've never been a member of all these bullshit organizations.
Which is why we love you.
We had this whole time period when like they forced carriers that if you wanted to send across a brand, like it was crazy. You would there was we were asked to be founding member of Meth, we denied. And nobody could ever explain to me what their sole purpose was. Combat fraud. I was like, yeah, but the fraudsters are on your board. So yes. That's kind of crazy.
They are the fraud.
So we never participated. But there was this time, and it worked out because I don't know if they're still relevant. But at the time, 5 years ago, this was wild. You had you could not get a carrier connection without being a member of Meth, and we had to fight hard in order to basically be like, hey, hold on, I'm a member of GSMA.
I didn't know this. This is pretty bad.
Oh,
but that's what they did. That's what the guys at Cinch did. The guys at Cinch are smart. These boys are smart. They cashed out. They made their money. They kicked money back to SoftBank and said, here, sorry, we robbed you. Here, take your money back. And now they got a $2 billion company. They did what they did, but Meth is still the same way. I mean, they did a hit piece on my CEO, who was the former chief counsel, head of cybersecurity for the United States Coast Guard. You don't get a higher security clearance. And they hired this fat misfit from Comms Risk, who they just hired back to write a hit piece on this guy. I mean, this is the kind of trivial stuff. We loved it. I don't know if you saw the czar. They picketed his event because they wouldn't let a woman on the board. There's a lot of stuff that you need to know. But I think I want to see you succeed. And I want to understand how you're going to navigate in the U.S. and also build a brand. I think if you can build your brand, because there's nobody who's got a brand in the industry. Jeff Lawson went on TV and lied. Oh, I love you. I'm going to give money to the homeless. I do this. Well, as he was robbing the shit out of you, never talking about how he was ever going to make money for his shareholders or how his company was ever going to be profitable. So I view you as a breath of fresh air. And look, I just want to buy in on the IPO. To be honest with you, I think you have to be doing an IPO at some point. And you can't tell me you're going to do this in Europe. You just can't.
We will never IPO in Europe. But
they made my day.
And that will never happen. But for many, I mean, by the way, look at all the, I don't know if you follow me next, you see the crazy shit going on right now where they're arresting founders of platforms. I mean, look, yep. We don't know exactly why he was arrested. So let's start there. Pavel, the founder of Telegram.
Yeah.
So provided that the information that we do know is true,
he's the most, because he wouldn't play ball. Look,
this is the most wild
we over
thing
here
ever.
In the U.S. know why he was arrested. You either play ball. Look, Google just made an assassination attempt disappear on their search and said, "Yeah, we messed up." So look, it's just the world we live in, Robert. But you're still safe over here. No matter how crazy people think it is, right or left, it's all the same. They all end up working it out together in the U.S. But that guy's got a problem. He's screwed.
Yeah, he does have. It seems like he has a real.
Well, he just hired Quinn Emanuel, the lawyer who just got off. He was Elon's lawyer. He was also Alec Baldwin's lawyer, the guy that shot the guy in the movie set. Mm-hmm. They hired his name is Alex. I forget his name is, but Quinn Emanuel, one of my attorneys, his wife is a partner there. I mean, he's going to fight this thing all the way through, but he's going to have to play ball, Robert. It's very simple. Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's great. It's like the most wild things are happening at the moment. So on your point on the United States and on your point on the future of the company. I mean, this is a long haul game. Yeah. I think the problem that people have in this industry is that they're too short-minded and they're too focused on money and not focused on creating value for customers.
Yeah.
And And telecoms allowed that because there's a significant amount of money. Whether you're on, let's say, if you divide the industry into like sort of like three buckets, you have like the red bucket, which are all the fraudsters and all those guys, and then you have sort of like the gray line bucket that are like kind of ish, kind of not, like just depends whether it's Monday or Tuesday, and then you have the sort of like people that are trying to stay on the right side of the line.
Mhm.
I think between all of them, the problem is 90% of the industry is between red and gray. And there's only maybe even 95 or 99. So there's only very few people that are trying to sort of like stay there. And if you want to be on that side, then you need then this is a long haul game, because what you're actually breaking through is interconnectedness of like so many different legacy agreements and industries and people that
which
have
is the
deals with
reason
each
why
other.
you should just take Tintech. Because I tell you why. Because you could buy it, you can get it for a price that you would shock.
But there's nothing that Tintech has that I want.
I think they have a connectivity platform.
We have more
They have
connections.
agreement.
I have more connections than Tintech. I have a better platform than Tintech.
You definitely don't have a better platform than them. Not on messaging connectivity. It's not even close.
Sorry.
Look, I'm telling you. I can't stand the guy. Look, he's got Germans 24 hours, 7 humping his own network. He humps it himself.
But he doesn't make. But if it was so great, it would make more money.
No, it doesn't make more money because he doesn't want to make more money. All he wants to do, to him, it's a shrine to himself. He doesn't care. He's not interested in building a company.
I think no, but I look. I'll be honest before they hate me. But like, I'm also serious. I think I'm not. What I'm not saying, I don't think Tintech is interesting for us because honestly, like with due respect to Tintech, I think I have a better platform. But like, and I have more connectivity than Tintech, etc. That said, Tintech has unique assets that are uniquely positioned for the markets. That's why we're a customer, they're a customer, et cetera, et cetera. So there's nothing wrong with Tintech. I think they're a great company.
No, there's a lot wrong with Tintech. I'm just trying to sell it to you because you're my last chance. I tried to sell it to everybody.
I'm not a buyer. The other thing is it's just like what, these days. I mean, they could give it to me for free. That's fine. But I'd be happy. I'm serious. Like I'm happy to take.
You didn't hear my conversation. We were willing to take stock in a company that was getting bombed.
No, I said free. I said free, not stock.
Free.
I'm not giving you stock either.
No, stock is paper.
Give them a rev share.
You can give stock. Paper. You can give stock. Look, Tintech has got value to it. There's definitely value to it.
$600 million in cash for Spark Post because I didn't want to give away any stock.
Yeah,
I don't give. I'm not a stock giver. That's why I still control the company. That's why I still.
Fair enough.
But I think Tintech has unique assets. I think a good buyer for a company like Tintech, and by the way, many messaging companies out there.
No, there's going to be no buyer because there's going to be litigation coming out, and anybody that's doing business with them that is a partner to them, I'm going after them too. They owe me $90 million. Point blank. Point blank.
I was just going to say. Now, first you try to sell me something, and then you're going to sue me.
You were my last chance. You were my last chance to sell it. So at the end of the day, me and Thorsten are not going to get along. I'm not going to make a deal with him. I would rather burn the money that he's trying to offer me, which is pennies, compared to what he owes me. I saved him and his little sidekick there. They basically were fired from their company. I enabled them to do a management buyout. I gave these guys everything, and then they screwed me. So this is personal. And Scipio Partners, the fund that owes them, they're also run a company called Wire, which competes with Telegram. So they're a PE group out of Germany that I hate more than I can. I don't hate Dorsey because I understand the animal, right? He's just a disgusting lunatic, and he's not a good guy. But the guys at Scipio Partners are the most treacherous PE group, and PEs, right? These guys threw out Alan Durick of Wire. So, I was gonna do a post on them and start going after them. Hey, why don't you tell us what you did with the guy from Telegram, Scipio? Because they play that game too, because they're a competitor of Telegram, but they're a competitor of Telegram on a corporate level with governments, which is kind of amazing how a private equity group treacherous Scipio Partners. So Scipio Partners is in there. We're going to start suing. I'm going to file a RICO suit on them, and I'm calling it out right here. And RICO is a bad word, right? RICO, you know what RICO means? RICIO? That's not good. It was developed for organized crime. They're organized crime.
I used to watch Miami Vice, so I don't know all about
it. So look, I don't really care anymore. You were their last chance, to be honest with you. We're going to hit the mat. I don't care. Thorson just tried to have me arrested in Germany. He said he's got a judgment to put me in jail in Germany for a LinkedIn post. So this is how much of a lunatic he is. And then he had a lawyer.
But these people, but like, you know what I think? Honestly, I think like the problem is that even with this is my honest. You're gonna get my Dutch bluntness now.
I always
go for it.
With even with the best intentions, I'm gonna assume best intentions. I hear everything that you're saying. I'm gonna assume that people are reasonable people, and whatever agreement they made with you, that they have some dignity to do that. I think the problem now is whatever the past is. There just is. It's one of those things. There just isn't. There isn't a world where it's. There's also no like. The problem about M&A also right now is that like there's no like why if you're somebody crazy like me that's saying the whole industry's dead, right? You basically get like
the CEO from Vox Solutions called me. By the way, had an hour conversation with that guy. He's really smart. He kind of pinned the whole AIT on the aggregators and large enterprise, which is really an interesting conversation. You should have a conversation with that guy. He's smarter than people think. This is the CEO of Vox, but look, you're right.
But he's right.
It's over.
Yeah, but he's right. Of course, everybody knows this. Robotic accounts creation. Okay, so AIT explained. Yeah, in like a heartbeat. It's very simple. It's basically robotic account creation on big brands generates SMS traffic. The SMS traffic somewhere in the chain, in the value chain, gets a kickback from a carrier. There is no way that it otherwise works, right? Because at some point, like these people are not doing it for fun. So like, there's money to be made. So the only way this works is that at the end you have a carrier. The carrier has to give some sort of rev share on that messaging. And if you generate enough robotic accounts, then essentially you will make you will make money. And there's almost no way to stop it because there's like we like so it's like you kind of can't get out of it. What it will do is, and this is what they don't understand. I mean, they don't give a fuck because they're the ones they're making all the money at the moment.
No.
But like what people don't understand is that what they're really doing is killing the industry, because it's like, this is why if people think legitimate companies are in this space, like there's no benefit to a company like ours or Cinch or any of the legitimate Twilio or like any of these platforms have no benefit to this, because essentially the more that this happens, the more distrust there comes to SMS. And you already have the whole thing on SMS where you like, you can spoof you can basically intercept the message if you're close enough to the poll and like do that. So it always had that negative thought already, but the benefit of it was that it was fast and it always worked. So people misunderstand. They go, "Oh, SMS is so unsafe. It's so unsafe." But if you know anything about security is not about risk exclusion. It's about risk management, because nothing is 100% secure. WhatsApp isn't like, so like.
Look, there's products that are coming out on the identity side that would make the whole industry
Please don't start
cleaner.
talking about. Please don't start talking to me about this one company.
No, it's not a company. It's not a company you don't even know about.
I love him to.
There's a company you don't know about, and I'll tell you offline, that just is doing a huge raise, and they've got identity down to the SIM level to where, because some companies, look, for the mobile phone, if you're using a mobile phone, they have no way of knowing if you have a signal or not. If you think you have 3 bars and they know what 3 bars is, it means nothing, because they don't test networks down to the handset. This company's been reverse engineering it down to the handset and has been testing with 4 of the 5 biggest operators in the world. 4 to 5 biggest mobile operators in the world are launching with this. I'll tell you.
Will you hate me if I'm critical? Will you hate me if I'm critical?
No, I don't really care, because that doesn't matter to me, because I don't own the stock. I don't.
Okay, so this is my view on all these companies. It's like I've heard 1,000 companies come up with 1,000 different ways to do this. The problem is it's not about the solution. That's not irrelevant. Brands don't give a fuck. You're going to get completely different technologies.
We're talking about the banks. The banks care.
But they don't. But not really, because the banks really
litigation. There are hearings going on right now. Australia's trying to say The banks don't owe the money. They're trying to screw people out of 2.8 billion. In the U.S., there's legislation right now that's coming on, and they're going to tell the banks.
Solutions.
But
it will move on from telco.
The banks are going to be liable, and if the banks are liable for the tens of billions, you're going to see solutions.
Yes, but not on a telco level. And the reason is because not on a telco
level is just one aspect of it. It's just SIM swap. That's all it is. It solves SIM swap. It solves the ability to know if that's actually you on the handset that did the transaction. It's just one layer.
RCS solves that problem. WhatsApp solves that problem. Passkey solves that problem.
Not entirely. And one more question on you, because look, you're a lot smarter than me. You know this. I know this business by accident. So let me ask you a question. How do you see RCS and Google and Apple and coming in between the U.S. with the campaign registry? So right now you're in the U.S. You want to get a campaign. You got to register with the campaign registry. What happens? Because when I tried to buy the campaign registry,
there is no campaign registry.
I'm just saying, I tried to buy the campaign registry, right? And I don't know if you know this. I put public. We did press releases. We went after those criminals in Calera in Italy. They got away with robbing millions. Doesn't matter. Now, bottom line is, I met a senior guy executive. He wanted to join our board because he told me Google was going to buy it the minute they merge and do this thing with Apple. So Apple and RCS and Apple come together. Where do you see the campaign registry? Why do you need it?
You don't.
Exactly. Heck, you don't need
there is no mercy.
They're trying to sell it right now for $200+ million.
Oh no! Now the industry will move. This is what's going to happen. One day, they're all going to wake up, get their sleep out of their eyes. It could be like this, and be like, "Holy fucking shit! What happened?" And the industry will have moved from left to right overnight.
Yeah. Yep.
There is no need. There's no need. There's no need for hubs. There's no need for SMS. There's no need for these things. Aren't necessary anymore. If you are a pre-approved or approved brand by Apple or by Google or by the carrier, and they will probably do like if you're they're bypassing all this technology. I mean, in fairness to Google, and I've been one of the biggest critical people on RCS. They all hated me for a long time because I never wanted to invest in it, even though we had all this omni-channel stuff. But I will give it to them. And my reason was actually very simple. It's not that I didn't believe in the tech. The tech was always really good, but you need distribution in order to make the tech work. So I didn't believe in the distribution, and without the distribution, you're not able to make the tech work. With the interoperability with Apple, you now have distribution. So all the carriers are playing ball. Every single one of them in the most difficult. I mean, us and I'll give you an example. Us and Cinch are the only two companies in the world that are directly connected to all the Singaporean carriers. And you might think, why is Singapore so important? Well, people don't know is that Singapore has the highest amount of messages per person in the world. So it has actually very low penetration in terms of amounts of people, but it has extremely high amount of messages. So it's not actually a small country that people think.
No, it's a very important country altogether with money between China and the U.S.
But let Robert finish. Let Robert finish.
So what you're now getting is that all the carriers are going to play ball, and you see it in Europe, you see it in Asia, you see it in the United States. It'll take a little bit of while because RCS will only work on latest phones and updated, etc. But at the end of the day, like it's a sliding scale, right? Like every month, every quarter, it will just go up and up and up and up, and the industry will move. And the interesting thing is, if you go back to our pricing strategy, this is why we're giving it away for free, because there is no more money. The money is gone. What's going to happen is that carriers, why do you need me? You need me as an abstraction layer across many different channels. That's what an aggregator would say. Yeah. So first you need an abstraction layer across all the carriers around the world. Well, that industry's gone because now you can just have one connection to Google and like you're done. So that's the sort of industry too. Then you have, but now you have multiple channels, just through passkeys, WhatsApp, other channels. Yeah. Great. But that's not really a high margin business, right? Because like now, again, you're in like a compressing margin business in order to do this. So this business doesn't exist and people will not realize it. It just doesn't exist. So what we did is we moved on to the application side with all the experience that we have, because I do think that like being in this industry and understanding all the channels and all the complexity and all the different, like if a file has to be compressed on this channel to this file size, but on that one, and there's so if you're a brand, you care about that stuff a lot, and security and all that sort of stuff. So, but it's about what you do with the channel. That's where the value is. It's where the value for us as a company is, the value for the brand is. The value downstream in all of these like different connections, that was really great business, and I still love it to death. And I don't want the industry to die, but it will die. There is no industry left, and people need to start realizing this, that there is no industry left. And whatever, like all these other companies are
Wall
selling
Street, Wall Street's realized that already. They're done.
Well,
They're
Wall
toast.
Street, of course, but this is because every industry analyst, like also like I don't get a lot of views, but every industry analyst at least reads what I say. And like it's also logical.
They don't read it enough, because if they actually heard you and understood you, the big play here and the podcast should read short everybody, which is what I did 9 months ago. And I had an industry analyst going all day long.
On a free cash flow.
What do I think? It's all short, one big short.
I'd still be careful about that. Like on a free cash flow basis, I would say that where they're valued right now, I don't think is crazy. Like they're not crazy overvalued, because it's the value right now. I think is actually
overvalued. You have cash in the bank. It's where they're going. So you took a look. You
oh
take
yeah,
a look at
oh yeah,
where
If you take a 5 year, if you take a long term short,
it's a 3 year short.
Take a long term short
Is what I'm saying. And they got a CFO in there right now who is a bean counter, who spent years working with Jeff Imlet, who destroyed our greatest company in America, GI. What?
I'm on the record. I do not give investment advice. Before we get I am not an investment advisor.
I'm not an investment advisor either, but look, the writing's on the wall. The whole industry is a short. So you're saying you and Cinch see this coming. What is Cinch going to do? I can't. Bad question. So,
I hope they one day. I mean, I definitely hope one day. I hope one day when you log into, if I was a Cinch customer and I had to go to that login screen and see 30 different brands to choose from to log in for, because nobody ever like brought all the platforms together, I would just be like, maybe they should focus there first. Sorry, I don't mean to jab. I don't mean to jab them. But like,
look, they don't care. They made their money. You have to understand something. These guys made their money. They hired.
I think what's going to happen, which is not something that I would like, but I think this is what's going to happen. My prediction would be, at some point, these companies are going to consolidate, and it won't be us. I will guarantee you that. I will go on the record and say I'm not buying any of them. I'm definitely not consolidating with them. I mean, I don't have the money. I'm never giving them any of my share. Like this will never happen. But like, so I won't be the one. But I think if you're a large public company or still a private company, I think what will happen is you will consolidate into, and they will create a big group. And there's some anti-competitiveness there. So I think the problem,
You mean the anti-competitiveness at MEF when they wouldn't let you get agreements? That type
no,
of
I mean like actual regulators, not fake ones.
Well, it's funny how MEF is sitting here telling us what to do in the US. Isn't that amazing? Except they got thrown out of the CTI event. They thought they were the GSMA. And the GSMA spent quite a bit of years.
But the GSMA, but if you talk about two legitimate organizations in the world that we've always been a member of and that I think are very respectful is GSMA and ITU, right? Numbering organization on the ITU side and the GSMA. These are respectable telecom organizations that understand telco, that don't go with the wave. They're not like there to like do anything. They also make their money and they charge you a lot, and like it's okay, but they're respectful. They're respectable organizations. Everybody around that.
One more question. So Ericsson just
this is like these awards. Sorry, one more thing.